Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Multitap, episode 17. Multitap is our weekly nerd culture, mainly gaming, though, podcast you can listen to every Monday. Typically, this one's coming out a little bit later because we wanted to get the PlayStation conference showcase that they had, which came out today on Wednesday. So we're recording Wednesday. It's going to come out tonight or tomorrow, typically every Monday. On your favorite podcast services. If you wanted to get the podcast 3 days early and show support for the show, as well as gain a few perks in the meantime, you can head on over to patreon.com/GamesTechMM, where tiers start at just $1 a month. That's 25 cents a week, Bruno. That's less than a pack of gum.
Yeah, it is less than a pack of gum. That's what?
They're 35 cents now. It's horseshit.
Wow.
Anyways,
I mean, you can still get the gumball machines.
It seriously does help out a lot. So thank you. We are entirely funded by audience support. I'm your host, Enzo. Joining me today is your co-host with the most, BDB, Bruno.
I'm very excited about today.
Yeah, man. It's we got something.
Oh, not even so much for the PlayStation event. I mean, yes, obviously, but there's some other stuff we'll get to it.
All right, fair enough. Before we get into everything, we typically go over what we've been playing, watching, so on and so forth. I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima, just finished that up. Finished up The Boys, season 1 and 2. Been playing some Destiny 2, been playing the shit out of Destiny 2. And then watched Wonder Woman the other day. That was, I liked it. It was okay.
Yeah, so I was almost entirely the same thing. Destiny 2, I've been playing a lot of as well, loving it. And I played a little bit of Black Ops 3 recently, just to, I don't know. I honestly don't know why, but it's, God, the multiplayer lobbies they're awful. I mean, the players are good.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I'm awful. So it's really hard to really get into. Yeah, I finished The Boys season 1 as well. I didn't finish what they have of season 2 yet. I just have a couple episodes to get through, and then of course they'll be coming out each Friday, so then we'll be able to finish that up. I don't know if I want to binge it or wait for it. I might just wait.
I don't even know. It's losing me.
Yeah, you mentioned
it's definitely losing me.
And then I also watched Wonder Woman as well for the first time, and I really liked it, and I definitely see why everyone was hyping it up when it came out, and I dig it. I'm excited for 84. I'm excited for 84, and props to Patty Jenkins for making this awesome movie that I forgot was a Wonder Woman movie a good way through, but I was still enjoying it.
Yeah, I remember you turned to me and you were like, "Oh shit, I forgot this was a Wonder Woman movie."
Yeah, I mean, I was still enjoying it though, but it was weird, but then it was good.
Yeah. And then we're gonna go ahead and get into our game suggestions of the week, where we suggest a game that you can be playing. Doesn't need to necessarily be anything we've been playing, or just something we think, if you got time, go through, play it. Mine this week is going to be Ghosts of Tsushima from Sucker Punch. It's a PS4 exclusive, with the multiplayer right around the corner. I think now is the perfect time for someone to jump into it if you haven't. It's not on sale or anything. I wish I could offer you it at a sale. It's still $59.99 on PSN.
You definitely get your money's worth though with that game.
Yeah, it's really, really good. You of course play as Jin Sakai, as he tries to ward off a Mongolian invasion on the island of Tsushima, Japan. It's good. I like it.
It was really good. Mine, I usually try to make it something that not that I haven't been playing, but also something that's not like super big. I usually try to find something that's a little bit smaller, just to give someone like a nice little indie game, just because I think they deserve shout-outs, but I do also enjoy AAA titles, and Destiny 2 is going to be mine for this week, and best part about it is that it's a free-to-play, so you can get it literally anywhere.
I mean, it's
great. Of course, Bungie doing it just like they did the first one.
Yeah, it has a bunch of add-ons and DLC that you can get, and I think you're getting your money's worth when you do get it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of content, and a lot of the content you're going to need to get the most recent exotics, weapons, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
But you still could play a good bit of it for free and put shit tons of hours into
Yeah,
it.
we've only been playing the free version, and we've put
Yeah.
in more than what would be worth however much the expansions are. I think you can get a bundle right now on sale for PlayStation for like $40, something like that.
Excluding the upcoming one, yeah.
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 So even without getting those, we've already gotten more than that much worth out of it.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun though.
Now, before we get into all the gaming nerdy shit, we typically like to talk about some random topics. Sometimes they're non-nerd culture. This time they will be. Sometimes they are. What I want to talk about is what the fuck is up with people diagnosing other people's mental health on Twitter. Now, the reason I bring this up is recently Kanye West tweeted out video of his Grammy in the toilet and him pissing on it. Now, this was met with a myriad of people who were like, Kanye needs fucking help. And I don't know. I know Kanye has previously said he went off his meds and he feels 100% better, which I could see. But this is, how did you put it? Kanye being Kanye.
Yeah.
This wasn't anything everyone wants to be a fucking psychologist online and diagnose everyone's fucking mental health.
Yeah.
And like,
I don't get that.
There's some times where you clearly can question someone's mental health, but like just straight up being like they're crazy. Honestly, the way I saw this was Kanye saying fuck the system like he always has and rebelling against it. It wasn't anything completely out of character for Kanye. Kanye's done some crazy shit, said some crazy shit. Always got a special place in my heart for graduation and dropout.
Yeah, I know.
I can't.
Yeah. Like I said, it's Kanye being Kanye. I don't particularly like him, but I don't like dislike him either. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, I hate him or whatever. It's like, no, I don't know him. Like, I have no interest. I don't listen to his music for real, so I have no interest in him whatsoever. And with any celebrity, I don't care about their personal life and what they do. So if a man wants to piss on his Grammy or anything else that, he owns, I mean, at that point, I don't care. But yeah, I mean, if it's him going against the system,
that's what I saw it as.
Props to him, because I mean, that's, I would say, the most logical answer. I don't think this man was just out of nowhere like, oh, I gotta throw my Grammy in the toilet and piss on it because he's crazy. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
But it's also just kind of funny how it's like, if it is against the system, it's, my first thought is like, yeah, fuck all these people, fuck selling out, but don't forget to buy my expensive ass shoes. And
because he did make sure to get his fucking
weird
Crocs
ass Croc in the
right in the shot. Yeah, which was weird to me because I was like, how did you get your Crocs in the shot? Dick's not in the shot.
Yeah, it was very well placed.
It's shot. So yeah, Kanye, please, man, please just bring back that old fucking graduation fucking spirit.
He
man.
won't. It's not. That's not what's selling.
Dude,
although it is Kanye, so it would sell regardless.
Good. That album was so good.
Yeah, I've never listened to any of like his entire album.
We're listening to it later.
But I've listened to a good bit of songs from some of his albums, but I've never listened to like a whole album from him.
They were really good. But and anyways, but I don't understand people constantly diagnosing other people as if they're some fucking doctor. Like,
yeah, it's almost like people
so fucking weird.
People just want to be right and act like they know everything. So they're like, "Oh, this is clearly because he's under this ailment." Or
well, also whenever people have shitty opinions, when they change their mind and have shitty opinions, they're crazy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And it's like,
everyone said the same thing about Dave Chappelle when he just like quit the business out of nowhere years ago.
Yeah, but that was the media portraying Dave Chappelle that way because he was speaking out against problems within the media, like Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is like it's no surprise that this is something that continues now.
Yeah.
How it just goes from media to social media, where it's
Okay.
now
Yeah.
because everyone who it's probably all the
Yeah,
people
everyone
who would
thinks
see
they're
stuff
fucking media.
like the news and be like, oh, like I'm sure almost every person who's saying he's crazy are the same people that saw like Dave Chappelle's crazy and were like, oh my god, what is he doing? And they just try to act like
true.
the media now because it's what they've always consumed and seen.
Yeah. I guess you're right. This kind of like almost mob mentality, but more of a flock to.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's got to have the fucking same opinions nowadays. Because if you differ in opinions, remember, you're a piece of shit.
Naturally.
Not here though. Not here.
No.
To an extent.
Yeah.
There's some things we don't tolerate.
Yeah.
But you know what's weird is that like I don't feel like that needs to be said for fucking anything. Yet there I am saying it. You know what I mean? Like
it's almost like
we're almost conditioned to the point where if you say, "Hey, look, we welcome diverse opinions," it's like, "Oh, well, Nazis? No,
it's
not fucking
everyone.
Nazis."
It's
the fuck is
everyone
wrong
who
with
has
you?
the mentality of you not saying something means you said something.
Yeah, well, I think more so the idea of like welcoming differing opinions.
Yeah, it's essentially like
is
the same
somehow taken to the extreme.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Whenever fucking this happens within academia or so on and so forth, people are immediately they're pushing fringe fucking flat Earth. You know what I mean? Whenever you start talking about shit like that, and it's just like, no, that's not. It's not at all what we're doing. But yeah, so there seems to be a lack of diverse opinions within our little bubble sphere of video games and shit like that. And wow,
it's really unfortunate because you don't have a lot of growth for real with people. Because if everyone's thinking the same just because they feel they need to, then you can't ever have just a conversation ever. Because at the moment there's a disagreement,
well, it's also
south.
People tie their ideologies to their personality.
Yeah.
And so if I criticize your ideology, then it clearly has to be a critique of you personally.
Yeah, they take it as an attack.
Which is not the case. But anyways, off of a fucking weirdly, like we typically don't get that serious. Anyways, Bruno, your random
on a completely
topic.
opposite, not serious note at all. Today was a very interesting day because not only did we get stuff about PlayStation, which we'll go into, but like, who cares about that when you got McDonald's releasing their spicy nuggets to the world?
I thought they were meh.
Yeah, they're fine. They don't beat Wendy's. Wendy's is like top tier spicy nuggets.
Yeah.
Still, they're definitely by default. I'd say McDonald's are second, just because the only other thing you're really comparing that to is Burger King, which theirs are like it's like eating sand.
If you can get 10 nuggets for $1.49, you shouldn't eat those 10 nuggets.
Yeah, but we tried them I guess today technically, but it was at like 1 a.m. and we got the new sauce with them and everything.
It was,
they were really good at first. Like, the first bite was just really sensational, I'd say, because it was something new. But the more you eat them, it's like, oh, yeah, they're not bad, but, like, they're not.
It's McDonald's.
Yeah, you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
Although I would, if anything, recommend getting them with maybe a different sauce. The sauce is fine. Like, it's pretty good. It's just the flavors don't mix well.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, because it's like a chili sauce, like chili peppers, and the just did not mix well. I feel like they'd be good with maybe you said a barbecue, maybe even like a ranch or something like that. Don't get their ranch though. Their ranch isn't good.
No.
But yeah, it's unfortunate. But don't be one of those other people that go to McDonald's now and like harass people for the Travis Scott meal. Because I know we mentioned that before last week, I think. And I've been seeing so many people.
Why do we mention McDonald's so much on this podcast?
I know we don't eat McDonald's. No, we ate it because of the new nuggets. We don't eat there ever.
We gotta try spicy.
Yeah,
like
spicy anything.
Chicken, anything.
Yeah,
bet.
Well, unless it's something like spicy beef, I feel like that would sound that wouldn't be that great.
Spicy chicken.
Well, yeah, I'm saying, but like if they were like, oh, we have spicy beef, like the beef is spicy.
I don't trust that.
Yeah, see.
Yeah,
It's really
no,
only spicy chicken.
that's
Any spicy
off-putting.
chicken we'll fuck with.
Yeah.
But that's because spicy chicken's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't be those people who are like pulling up to McDonald's like blaring Travis Scott music or just being obnoxious to McDonald's employees.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say on that. But yeah,
Ugh,
McDonald's
pretty much.
second place. Wendy's S tier.
Yeah. We'll go over that one day.
Yeah,
day.
we'll maybe do a whole list.
But let's go ahead and get into the news for this week. We have a shit ton to talk about. Of course, we did delay a couple days, so there wasn't much last week, though. I'm kind of glad we did.
Yeah.
So, Bruno, do you want to go ahead and get into the first story because I cannot pronounce this fucking director's name?
Yeah, I'll get into it. So we got our first trailer for the new Dune movie that should be coming out. It's supposed to be coming out this year, but we'll see. It's going to be directed by Denis Villeneuve, who did Blade Runner 2049, and he's very, very good with cinematography, as you've seen if you've seen Blade Runner, and also if you've seen this trailer. This trailer was amazing. And
yeah, it looks really
wait.
good. Dune, of course, is being adapted from the novel from Frank Herbert, Dune, and the series of books that followed. I really like this series. I cannot fucking wait. I hope it comes out this December.
Yeah.
It's probably going to get delayed.
Yeah.
Probably. So
we'll see though. If they try to keep it up, then who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to mention, this is a bit late, but to backtrack a little bit, I forgot to mention in the things I was watching, I just saw Tenet.
Oh yeah. How'd you like that?
I thought it was really great. If you're able to see it comfortably, I recommend going to see it, especially if you're a Christopher Nolan fan. If his movies aren't really your style, because they are very,
I like Nolan.
I forget the word I'm looking for, but they are very these like intricate plots and very big,
Pretentious.
Yeah, I guess you could say that, but I just mean like so far as like actual storytelling, they are very. You do gotta think. They're not movies that you gotta just sit and eat your popcorn. They're not that kind of movie. You will have to be invested, and I definitely was, and always am with his movies. And this one delivered just as much as I thought it would. I thought everything was super fun to watch, and all the things they do with the reverse time and
you were telling
so
me some
cool.
of it, and it sounds really
I won't say
interesting.
anything here just for anyone who's worried about potential spoilers, but like I said, if you're able to see it, check it out. It was awesome. But anyways, we can go back to what we were talking about.
Yeah. All right. So the second story I want to go ahead and get into is The Mandalorian Season 2 got a trailer that was mediocre and a date of October 30th next month. There's been some rumors of reshoots towards the latter end of the season, like the second half. This trailer did not get me. Like, I'm excited for The Mandalorian just because how good season 1 was. But the point of a trailer, like we were saying, is to win over people who haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like this one did that at all.
Yeah, I can definitely say I feel I liked the trailer a little bit more than you did, mainly just because I was kind of geeking out of some of the smaller things that aren't really probably that important to the whole season. But I do have to agree with you, even though I did like it a bit more. It doesn't even fully sell me on this season, and I am someone who really likes Star Wars and Mandalorians. I know I'll watch it regardless, but
yeah,
it didn't. There was nothing that made me go, I need to make sure I like watch this. Like at this point, it's like, oh, based off this trailer, I might just wait for them all to drop.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
then binge it.
We're going to, but it's still just I don't know.
Yeah.
It's looking mediocre.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt they'll release anything
as far
else.
as the trailer. Like, I think season 2 will be pretty good, but who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But I think, it'll definitely be good. I hope it delivers with all the hype that's behind it. I have a good feeling that it will, just because of the team behind it. I mean, as we're doing this now, they have just won a couple Emmys. Which is already pretty cool. I'm excited, but kind of cautious now, and I wasn't before at all. Like, I had no sense of worry, but I am a little bit, especially if the rumors of reshoots are true, because that doesn't necessarily mean it'll be bad, but it definitely means it'll be Disney stepping in and putting a little bit of
I think Disney's
themselves into it.
overstepped with Star Wars one too many times, and I think we're gonna see that here again, quite possibly. But again, I don't really know, because all of these are like just hearsay and like leaks. You know, quote unquote.
So who really knows what's going on? But we'll definitely see come October, and that's not that far away. So we'll definitely give you our thoughts on that then. Yeah, because will, like we said, we're gonna watch it. It's Mandalorian. Can't not watch it.
Of course. All right, Bruno, you want to take this next one?
Yeah, this was something from like last week that I was gonna mention beforehand. Like very glad that we didn't end up doing anything then. But Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, of course, CD Projekt Red's amazing game, is gonna be coming to PC and next gen consoles with ray tracing and faster load times. Which, first of all, that's really cool. But also, these features will be available as a free update for everyone who already owns the game on PC and current gen. So they're upgrading this game, and they're giving me more reasons to go back into it. Kind of. There's nothing like technically so far as new material for the game, but I'm curious to see it.
This is what gets me about this one. Why are they doing this?
I don't know.
Like, here's what I mean. Give us this not when Cyberpunk 2077 is coming out. Like, it just kind of feels like, why would you give us an update for a massive RPG when you're coming out with another massive RPG?
Do you think it could be like potential filler because Cyberpunk?
No, it almost seems like it's cannibalizing its own title. I mean, dude, who? Like, anyone who's like, oh, that's awesome, I want to jump into that, they're going to be too busy playing Witcher 3, which I don't really think is a huge market, but they're going to be busy playing Witcher 3 and probably not jump into Cyberpunk.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to jump back into Witcher at some point, but I don't think I'll do it before Cyberpunk.
I don't know.
I'm way more excited for Cyberpunk than I am for an update for this.
It feels like a weird move to me.
Yeah,
I guess.
It definitely is. I'm excited nonetheless, and I will try it out when I'll probably do it on PS5 rather than just do the update version, because who knows how good that's going to be, if it really will do anything too different.
For the PS4, probably not.
Yeah. So I'm going to do it on PS5 for sure and see how it is, but I don't think I'll get super invested into it again, but I'll check it out. Yeah.
Now, next bit of news is Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity by Koei Tecmo. They created the first Hyrule Warriors and Dynasty Warriors. That will release on Switch November 20th, 2020. This game will follow the story of the Great Calamity that takes place 100 years before Breath of the Wild. The game will feature dramatic cutscenes that will show off our heroes attempting to stop Ganon's plans for world destruction. And not only will you be able to play as Link and Zelda, but like in the other games, you're going to be able to play other characters from from the original game, Breath of the Wild. The Goron, Zora, the Ritu, and the Gerudo that he rolls around with. That's going to be, it's available for pre-order now. It's $59.99. I'm really excited about this. This one is not going to be like the original Hyrule Warriors was. They took a lot of the mechanics from Breath of the Wild and elements from the Dynasty Warriors type games, so something like Hyrule Warriors, and they put them into this one. And this one very much is pretty much a prequel to Breath of the Wild.
It's a nice melting pot of
looks fascinating.
Of ideas. And one thing I just am thinking of is like they're really building upon this universe and this timeline of the Zelda world a lot, like because we're getting a sequel.
Yeah,
and this is a prequel. So I wonder if they're really just trying to push this new, if this is like their new model of Zelda, just pushing this one world forward. It'd be interesting considering it's nothing they've ever really done before. We've gotten like soft sequels and things like that before.
Yeah, we've never really got...
The closest thing we got to a direct sequel would be Zelda 2.
No. A Link Between Worlds.
A Link Between Worlds was a sequel to
Link to the Past.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
And then I guess Majora's Mask
yeah.
to Ocarina.
Mm-hmm. But nothing like this.
Yeah, this is definitely like world building.
Yeah, and then the fact that again, it is Koei Tecmo that's bringing this game, and they're using elements from the gameplay of Breath of the Wild to do it is kind of astonishing.
There's a trailer that they showed, and like it really does look like they implemented that so well, because I think they showed off the dodge mechanic from Breath of the Wild, where it does like the slow mo if you dodge at the right time, and they have, of course, the rune that you can use from the Sheikah Slate in there, and so it looks really good. I'm excited, and I actually might go back to Switch. Not that I don't play Switch. I like it. It's just there hasn't been anything that's really drawn me back yet to play on it. I've played Smash Bros. Every here and there, but I'm excited for something like this, especially because I am interested in how they're going to do the story for the Calamity, because we know how it ends naturally, but the little minor details really exciting for me.
Yeah, and it's Breath of the Wild was one of my favorite games. Playing something like this that ties into it and goes off the story, that it really was something that surprised me from Nintendo.
Yeah,
and I haven't been surprised since probably Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
you know?
which I mean, they're really going all in on this, and I'm down, because at first I saw it and I was like, is this like a DLC for the Switch port of Hyrule Warriors that they did? But I saw it was a full game, and it's brand new like idea, and the implementation looks great, and it comes out real soon, so we'll probably pick it up.
Yeah, definitely will. Moving on to the next, Medal of Honor Above and Beyond was announced today. It is the game is going to take place in Europe during World War II, taking the franchise back to its roots. Of course, those familiar with Medal of Honor, with the main protagonist being an OSS agent and a fighter in the French Resistance. It's going to launch on Oculus and Steam VR. So this is going to be a VR game, meaning if you have HTC Vive or Steam's fucking VR, their fucking expensive ass VR, you're going to be able to play this as well. The difference with this one is that Respawn is developing it. Respawn, of course, the developers of Titanfall, Apex, and Jedi Fallen Order. They're going to be developing it, and it will be an exclusive VR game that will not be coming to consoles. So PlayStation VR is shit out of luck there. Kind of no surprise, though. A lot of third-party VR games aren't really coming to PlayStation VR just because it doesn't run well.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how that goes moving forward with PS5.
Yeah. And so to get past that, next story that I want to talk about is the release dates for both consoles. The Xbox Series X and S are going to release on November 10th. The X is going to be $499.99 and the S is going to be $299.99 US dollars. The PS5 has a release date of November 12th, with the disc edition being $499.99 and digital being $399.99, like we've been saying for fucking
and
months.
that release date for the PS5, the 12th is for certain territories. It'll be released everywhere November 19th.
Yeah. No surprise there at all.
Yeah.
Like we've been saying this for
I was definitely proven wrong, because I'm on record saying I thought it was going to be more expensive for the digital. So I was definitely wrong on that one, but you got it this one.
Yeah. And it seems games will be $70 for next gen titles, or at least on PS5, as a tweet from Shuhei Yoshida confirms. It went on to talk about what Shuhei was actually tweeting about was Demon's Souls being a launch day game for PS5, but it goes on to list some prices. And Astro's Playroom by Japan Studio is going to come pre-installed on PS5. Demon's Souls by Bluepoint and Studio Japan is going to be $69.99 US dollars. Destruction All Stars from Lucid Games is going to be $69.99. Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales from Insomniac is going to be $49.99. With the Ultimate Edition being $69.99, and Sackboy: A Big Adventure by Sumo Digital is going to be $59.99 US. This is shocking considering Xbox was like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah, the main thing that I was surprised about is that not only are we getting certain games priced at 70, which I believe it said something about before, but how the difference in how you go from Miles Morales being $49.99 and then Sackboy at $59.99, how it seems like these price ranges are kind of jumping around a lot. And of course it's dependent on the game because Miles Morales is a standalone DLC type thing.
Game, yeah.
So that no surprise that it's around that price point, considering that it's 70 now for the actual games like Demon Souls. But then, like I said, Sackboy is $59.99, which is how much games are now. And I wonder if that's because it might be because certain games being on PS4 and PS5, or how that's going to be.
I don't know, because this doesn't confirm PS4 prices, just the PS5 ones. And what's interesting is that Xbox isn't going to have prices basically for their first party titles going into next gen, because they're all going to be on Game Pass day one.
The price is just Game Pass, essentially.
Which I guess you could buy it, but I think even they stated they want to keep it at $59.99. And then Ubisoft said that they want to keep theirs at $59.99. And 2K Interactive came out and said that not all of their games are going to be $69.99 like NBA 2K. That one was just $69.99, I think, because they know that their audience will pay for it as far as 2K goes. But yeah, it seems like not only is PlayStation coming with a more expensive console, but a more expensive price point. Because again, if this were Microsoft, these games would all be on their service, which we will get to PlayStation's answer to that in a minute. But before we do, PS5, of course, held an event today, which is why we're coming late with the show, and showed off some games we're pretty excited for. Among them are Final Fantasy 16 from Square Enix, Hogwarts Legacy by Avalanche, the creators of the Just Cause series, Mad Max, and Rage 2, despite the fact that id Software tried to say that they developed that in a huge portion. They didn't. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach by Steel Wool Studios. I could give two fucks about that.
Yeah, I don't
Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition from Capcom. Oddworld Soulstorm Moloch Returns by Oddworld Inhabitants. And they showed off others, of course, Miles Morales by Insomniac, Horizon Forbidden West by Guerrilla, and they ended with a short teaser and confirmation for God of War Ragnarok.
Holy shit, that was so
Sony
fucking
Santa
cool.
Monica.
I was so hyped. I know we didn't see anything for it, but just the fact that we know that
2021
we're getting
is
next
when it'll
year,
come out. I imagine holiday 2021, and I imagine a delay.
Yeah.
Like Horizon's supposed to come out too, and we've seen shit from Horizon.
Yeah.
So I think they're putting 2021 and it's going to delay till 2022. I'm going to go on record saying that God of War Ragnarok is going to come out holiday 2022.
Do you think it could potentially just come out late 2021?
Nope. Nope, not at all. The reason being is that they want people to get on board. And what is it that I said? God of War would be the one thing that had me buy a PlayStation. They want people to go ahead and secure that while they can. If they're worried about any sort of supply shortages, which clearly there aren't, or clearly there is. So if someone's worried about supply shortages, they want to go ahead and get that for God of War or something like that. They showed nothing except a logo, and it was just a small teaser.
A little bit of
fact that they don't even have a trailer.
Kratos.
No trailer, no vertical slice, no, they showed nothing off, and they haven't up until this point. We're supposed to believe that this game comes out in a year. When all the other games have been being delayed because of COVID, I don't believe it for one fucking second.
Optimistically, I'd like to believe that if this game does come out 2021. My best guess is October.
No, nope. And here's why. Considering the delays that have happened with Sony Studios recently anyway. We're talking about before COVID, for all that. They've been delaying their games 3 to 6 months anyways. And I mean, look at the delay on Last of Us.
Yeah, and then now that we do have something like COVID, the Deathloop is now Q2.
Which Deathloop isn't them, but going off of that, look at Halo being delayed on Microsoft's front. And we're talking about top tier developers through and through. Bethesda, I don't know if I'd call them top tier. With Deathloop or 343 with Halo.
It just seems like there's a theme no matter what side it is. You got Sony, Xbox, and then developers and everywhere kind of just.
Go ahead, my bad.
Oh no, you're good.
I was just saying, to me, this felt like a move of desperation.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely would make sense considering that you said as soon as we saw God of War, we were watching the event and you said, like that's what sold you on it. Which I could like you said, it could just be the ploy to get people in.
If they said spring 2022, I'd believe that. Even though it's just a few months out of 2021. If I don't believe it hits the 2021 date. I don't. And on top of that, God of War came out in 2018. We're supposed to believe that Santa Monica, on a AAA title that is at this point a flagship franchise of the brand, has a 3-year dev cycle? No. They have a 4-year dev cycle, and it'll come out in 2022. And I put money it'll be holiday 2022.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that.
Yeah, and I mean, it just, I can't see it happening any other way.
Yeah, I'm hoping for the best, but I don't think it'll happen. But like I said, if I'm being optimistic, around October to holiday 2021, if it does get released.
And on top of that let's not forget the entire reason why publishers announce a date for a game that they're not 100% sure they're going to hit. And sometimes they know they're not going to hit it, is for stock. And Sony was not looking good after Microsoft's press conference, especially after the news that EA, EA Play is being bundled in with fucking Game Pass Ultimate. The fact that Xbox has a cheaper console than PlayStation does at a price point that is pretty fucking insane, aimed towards people who don't have a 4K TV yet, which is most of the market.
Yeah.
It just, to me, it reeks of needing to get stock up after an announcement like that. And God of War sold like crazy, which is why you would say
when we get to their like little, I guess it's essentially them just playing catch up overall, which we'll get to right now actually.
Because Sony announced their half-assed attempt at matching the value found in Microsoft's Xbox Game Pass in its PlayStation Plus collection, a series of PS4 games including God of War, Last of Us Remastered, Uncharted 4, Thieves End, Battlefield 1, Monster Hunter World, Fallout 4, Final Fantasy 15, The Last Guardian, Ratchet & Clank, Infamous Second Son, Days Gone, Bloodborne, Detroit Become Human, Batman Arkham Knight, Mortal Kombat 10, Persona 5, Until Dawn, and Resident Evil Biohazard. Those are all the games. And the reason why I named all of the games is because I couldn't even, nor would I attempt to even name the games on Game Pass in one, just naming them in a podcast. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, so is this everything that's going to be in?
That's everything that's going to be, as far as we know right
show
now, which PlayStation Plus Collection is, like I said, a series of PS4 games that will be playable day one on PS5 that come with your PlayStation Plus subscription. This is a fucking joke, and here's why. God of War has already been included in PlayStation Plus, has it not? No, I think God of War is
it's in the hits, but it's not on Plus.
Okay. Last of Us Remastered
was Plus, yeah.
Uncharted 4 has. Let's see. Infamous Second Son. Detroit.
Arkham
Knight. Until Dawn. Persona 5, I want to say at some point was.
Most of these games have either been in Plus or in hits, which are it's $20 in hits.
And it's not even close. Like, personally, what I would have liked to see is PlayStation Now with a way better model than just streaming, because those games stream like shit, wrapped in with PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
They didn't do it.
No.
They didn't do it. Just games that have...
Yeah, I was talking about it before we started recording. I've played most of the games. I think out of all the games, I've played 9 of the games, and I've beaten most of the ones that I have played, but I've played enough of each film to be satisfied. And everything else on this list, at least, I don't care about. And I know that's just going for me, but if this is geared towards people who miss certain games on PS4, and we already went off the list of the launch titles for PS5, which some of them will be available on PS4 anyway, it's troubling because it's like you're just buying a PS5 to play PS4 games.
Yeah.
And that worries me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not even, it's a fucking joke as far as trying to match Game Pass, and that's clearly what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's not even a little bit close. But we'll get into our feelings on that in just a minute. But pre-orders seem to be all over the place for PS5. So good luck with getting that. Some people have seemed to have gotten one via Walmart.
Yeah.
But that's kind of iffy because some people got confirmation codes, other people didn't.
It's like you said, it's all over the place.
You were trying.
GameStop's was messing up. Yeah, I was trying on Best Buy right before, and I was almost there. I literally almost fucking had it, and I was persistent. I tried my damnedest, but holy fuck, that was so annoying and tedious. And then I ended up not getting it, and they're sold out on Best Buy now as well for the pre-orders. I believe on GameStop, when I looked again, I think the consoles are sold out, but I think they still have the hardware, so you can still. The last time I looked, I don't know about now. They could still be up, but all of the stuff like the controllers, the charging dock, camera, headphones, remote, that was all still available. But so far as the consoles, I think as of now, everyone that did have them is sold out. And good luck trying to get one, even if they aren't, because with everyone trying at the same time, the websites are just fucking up, and it's gonna be a hassle. But if you get one, props. But after trying to get one just now, I think it's safe to say that it probably just isn't worth it to pre-order. Just because they will be available at some point.
Yeah, and keep in mind, this is not 100% a pre-order because they don't know what they're gonna have. Like, that's something else that people need to take into consideration, is that these suppliers don't know. They have a rough guess of how many they're going to get, but when everything's said and done, it's not set in stone. They could not get these depending on supply constraints. Sony could end up giving suppliers half of what they told them they would be able to manufacture, or they might be able to give them all of them. I mean, I'm not entirely sure. But they also need to get these out on the floor for Black Friday, because these are going to pull in people for Black Friday. So they're going to need some of these at physical addresses. And they're also going to need to save some of this stock for online orders, for people to be drawn to their website, so on and so forth, by the time Black Friday comes, so that they can sell them all the other shit that they're trying to sell them. So with that being said, these pre-orders are more so paying for placeholders that if they have the units to allocate, you'll be sent one.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It reminds me of back in the 70s.
It's not a real pre-order.
With the Star Wars action figures from Kenner, is because they sold so quickly and they didn't have enough to supply because at the time, it's Star Wars. No one thought that shit was going to be a success. How instead of getting the toy, you would get a card, like this little cardboard piece that basically guaranteed you the toys when they came in stock. And it reminds me a lot of that, just, of course, with consoles.
Yeah.
Where you're just buying your place in line, essentially.
Yeah, but at least that one, you would be guaranteed the toy.
And this isn't necessarily guaranteed.
I just still am unsure that there aren't supply constraints to a greater degree than what the manufacturers are letting on, than what Sony and Microsoft are letting on.
Yeah, the weird thing is that they said is that it was supposed to pre-order start tomorrow at specific retailers, and they started today.
Yeah.
The same day even.
Yeah.
So who knows if there's going to be more stuff from other retailers tomorrow or how that's going to go or fucking whatever, but
I don't know.
Yeah, it's looking all over the place. I'm still hoping to maybe get at the very least a Series S pre-order.
Yeah.
Cuz that's the one I want, and I have a good feeling I might be able to secure that, but still, hopefully it wasn't as bad as this.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I do want to go ahead and talk about how we're feeling about just a lot of this, because I know I personally am feeling like Microsoft has poised themselves in a greater position than Sony has, despite the fact that there is more buzz around Sony because it does have a bigger fan base, because Microsoft shit the bed entirely this generation with the Xbox One. Dude, the idea that you can pay per month for either the Series X or the S, that's going to be built in through retailers automatically. That's also going to double as your Game Pass, your Ultimate Game Pass, and your Xbox Gold. Dude, the value there is just so insane, right? Like, you got to figure with PlayStation, if you want, what PlayStation Now is $9.99 a month, and $60 a year for fucking plus. You break that down, that's basically $15 a month, right? If you want an even better value than that, then you're going to get Game Pass. If you're paying $15 a month, why not just pay $25 and get a Series X? Or $35 and get a Series S? Especially with the way the economy's been right now, kind of just globally. But this is specific to the US. Because I'm not sure how creditors work in other markets. So in European markets or the Japanese market, I'm not entirely sure how any of that works. I only know how ours works. But if we're just talking about US markets, it poises you in a different position. If I'm going to be paying this each month, why not just go ahead and pay, get that console, and then boom, whole thing taken care of.
Yeah, it's the best deal possible.
It is.
Either way whichever one you want to get.
Yeah.
Because I think for me, like I said, I'm going to get a Series S because I can't utilize the Series X to its fullest potential yet. So there's no point. But also, I'm also debating if I want to do the financing options for the Series S as well, or if I just want to buy the whole thing at once. But I'm leaning more towards, I think, the financing, just because it has that great bundle of everything with it.
Yeah.
And you get more than your money's worth within that.
For sure. And, one of the other things that, I don't know, that I think is a factor that not a lot of people are considering is that, if you go ahead and do this, you get all of those games with Game Pass just off rip. And Microsoft's first party titles are gonna be day one Game Pass.
Yeah.
That's another huge, huge deal. You're talking about saving money going forward too?
Yeah. Which if when we mentioned the PlayStation pricings for the games, if that got you a little uneasy, this definitely seems like the best alternative for anyone who's just because it is really
on top of that
tough right now with the way everything's kind of still been closed. So
this is
I'd say the best option.
And I think it's going to be moving forward into the fall. I think we're going to see more shutdowns as the flu and COVID start to run rampant during flu season.
Yeah.
Like I think that's going to compound to have some kind of effect. And whenever you look at it, the Xbox Series X is technically more powerful than the PS4. Now, the PS4 has its disc edition, which is $100 more
You're
than
saying
the
4.
digital. Huh?
You're saying
PS5.
4.
PS5 has its disc edition, which is $100 more than its digital edition, which is entirely different than what the Series X and Series S is. Now, with that being said, raw power, we've talked about before, it doesn't necessarily matter if you can't take full advantage of it. It seems like Sony's done their work on the operating system side of it, on the software side of it, to really maximize how games look. So games could perform better on a PS5 that's less powerful than the Series X. The one thing I'm not entirely sure of is how much does that Series S dip in power matter to the average consumer? Like, how much of that are people going to look at it in terms of they're going to compare that model to the PS4 or to the PS5 or not? Like, are they going to look at the Series X as if it were a pro model and go, well, Microsoft's offering a console that's $100 cheaper than PlayStation's digital?
Yeah.
That is what I'm really curious about, because if so, then they've already undercut PlayStation, period. You know what I mean? Like, that's just that. So I don't know, man. I think that could be the case, especially when you're talking about 1080p TVs.
Yeah. One of the things that you had already said is like not everyone has 4K TVs in the market. So I think the fact that people will look at a Series S and be able to probably get, the average consumer at least will probably be able to get more out of that, as opposed to how the PS5 and Series X is, you're going to need that 4K TV to really experience what this is meant to be. And so I hope that people compare the 5 to the Series X, not so much to the S, because it's the PS5 digital edition is at the same power as the regular version.
But that's the thing. It is less powerful.
Oh, it is?
The PS5 is technically less powerful than the Series X.
Oh, no, I meant the standard edition of the PS5.
Oh, yeah. It's same power, but so that's kind of what I'm saying, though, is that if you can market the Series X in technicalities is more powerful than the PS5, and then say you have a less powerful machine that's priced $100 cheaper than Sony's, technically all of this is true, and it makes it seem like the Series S is on par with PS5.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So what my question is does that play a factor? And I'm not entirely sure it does, but I'm really interested to see, because I do think that would be the smart marketing decision that you would go with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was more so getting at how consumers would look at it. I'm saying I hope people don't just compare digital to digital and be like, oh, well, this is more powerful than Xbox's digital.
But
and
that's
then
the other
go
thing.
Off that.
With everything that I just said, will they? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, no, it really just depends on how it's marketed.
And I'm telling you, I think that
I'm almost confident that like Microsoft would definitely have to do it the way you said, in order for that to make the most sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think they would do that to maximize profits for sure.
Yeah.
You know, and it just doesn't make sense any other way to not do it that way, considering that all of these things are technically true. Like you would be able to market it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can make consumers think that the Series S and the PlayStation Digital Edition are the same thing, well then you win.
Do you think PlayStation would try to counter that with their marketing?
Maybe. Yeah, I mean for sure. For sure. But the question is will it work, or are people going to look at dollars?
I think people will probably look at dollars.
I think so too, especially with the way the economic situation is.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that moving forward, Xbox is poised in a better place.
Yeah.
Than PlayStation is. And on top of that, Miles Morales you're going to be able to play on PS4?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
what is PlayStation like really offering at this point?
The same thing as Microsoft.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And at least with Microsoft, you have
Game Pass.
So much more.
Yeah. I mean, it really is a huge difference. And I think that does make a really big difference in the grand scheme of things.
And it's unfortunate that no one's like mentioning that.
Well, yeah, let's go ahead and get into why I think that is. And this one's going to be a little bit shorter of a show, but that's just because we want to go ahead and get this out. We already delayed as much as we did for the PlayStation event. But typically to cap things off, we talk about our bad take within the industry. And mine is the industry's PlayStation bias is showing right now.
Yeah, I
because
think
everyone
it's very
that
clear
I've
if
seen,
you just open Twitter.
Everyone I've seen is talking about how PlayStation is poised to be the top dog in this generation of consoles, and I don't think that that's the case. And the industry does have a PlayStation bias; it skews PlayStation, and I'm not necessarily upset with that. Like, I have a personal PlayStation bias. I prefer to play on PlayStation.
Yeah, same.
I got rid of my Xbox One whenever I realized that this generation truly was shit. Like, what was I keeping this for? None of my friends were playing on it. They had no exclusives that I couldn't get. That being said, Xbox is creating the superior ecosystem. And I think that's really going to matter moving forward. For example, why do people keep their iPhones? Why do people switch to iPhones to begin with? It was because of the ecosystem. And they stay within that ecosystem as long as it's compelling enough to deter them from switching. You know, if they lose enough of the shit that they like. I don't see PlayStation creating an ecosystem. I see PlayStation moving into a next console generation and Microsoft creating an ecosystem. And that's why I think Microsoft is going to maybe not even initially, because again, due to supply constraints, so on and so forth, these consoles both might just sell out. However many they can ship. But moving forward, when there are no supply constraints, when there is no, I think just like this generation, Sony's going to have much better first-party titles. That's not where the majority of gamers, that's not why the majority of gamers are on PlayStation, though. It's not.
Yeah.
They're on PlayStation because their friends are playing there or so on and so forth. And I think if you can entice people with a better ecosystem, they will move to it. And like I was saying earlier, to me, it feels like Xbox this generation is trying to win over consumers. And it seems like PlayStation is trying its damnedest to keep them where they are, but not convince them that it's a better place to play.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest problem with it, is that people who take that stance always seem to lose. And that's not even considering the amount of money that Microsoft has. Shit tons of money. I mean, so much money that this generation they failed miserably and they can afford to just pop back.
Yeah, the one thing that I will say about that is it seems like everyone else in the gaming community at least is looking at it from a really, I understand the logic and the perspective of how like everyone's just looking at it like, oh, PlayStation's offering this powerful console. Both versions are just as powerful as each other, but one's cheaper. Instead of looking at everything Microsoft is doing and just they're comparing that instead of seeing what the value Xbox has to offer with everything they're building.
Yeah.
Instead, they're just looking at it from this interest. I mean, it's an interesting perspective, I guess, because they're, like you said, it's everyone's looking at it as just next console generation instead of what the future of gaming should be, in my opinion.
Yeah. Maybe not even what the future of gaming should be in your opinion, but what it's going to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's where I was talking about, like, this PlayStation bias is clearly showing. Like, I don't see, this is the way I look at it. If you take a non-gamer and you need them to buy a console, they have to buy one or the other, and you present them with Xbox and PlayStation moving into next gen, genuinely, which option do you think they would choose?
They probably would choose, I would think, Xbox, just because
Exactly.
everything they get with it.
And that's my biggest problem, is that PlayStation does not need to worry about its hardcore fans that are buying Ghost of Tsushima, that are buying God of War, that are buying Uncharted.
They're already there.
That they're going to be there.
Yeah.
They're going to be there. You need to convince gamers who are there because their friends are there playing Fortnite or Apex or Destiny, or these are all free to play games, or Call of Duty that they buy once a year, or so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. Those make up huge amounts of the marketplace. You have to convince them that your platform is worth staying. I don't see Sony doing that. That's not what they're doing right now. They're trying to convince. It feels like they're letting their hardcore audience know it's still PlayStation. Yeah. And like, bro, your hardcore audience is going to be there anyways.
Yeah. That much is pretty clear, obviously, by everything we're seeing. Because the thing that matters truly is, can you win the casual gamer? The person that, like you said, just they get the yearly franchises that they always get. Yeah. And we've mentioned this time and time again. And they would more than likely, in my opinion, I think, go to Xbox.
And to look at this so I'm not even looking at this from a like console wars perspective, because that's kind of how I could see how all my points have sounded that way. But I guess what my point is because you're doing this, you create a better ecosystem for all players.
Yeah.
And that's really what needs to be done. And in my opinion, Microsoft is doing a infinitely better job at that than Sony is right now. And that's why I'm so astonished to see everyone talking about how Sony's coming out on top right now.
Yeah.
I don't see, like, I'm trying to figure, like, am I fucking stupid? Like,
no, I think you mentioned the console wars thing, and I think that's a pretty reasonable thing to mention, how console wars mentality usually does bleed into this, because you do have a lot of people who, it doesn't matter if they're kids or not, I still see people now who are like, they've stuck with one thing forever, and so they're just like championing for it all the way, regardless of if they're going to get something better somewhere else, which it seems like that is what's happening a little bit. I wouldn't necessarily say all the way. But yeah, a lot of people seem to just be, I mean, I'm not saying PlayStation doesn't deserve the praise they're getting right now. Like, fuck yeah, like good for them. But it just feels like a week or two ago when we had everything for Xbox, it just seemed like, yay, Xbox. And then it was like silence for a good while.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just interesting because I would think that the gaming industry is at least past the part of, oh, my console's better than yours.
Yeah, I would think that gaming analysts and journalists could look at something from an objective point of view and see that clearly Microsoft has poised themselves in a better position to win players over from a different console. And people need not forget that when it comes to console loyalty, there is none. Everyone had a fucking PS2. Everyone was playing on PS2. They immediately switched to 360, almost instantaneously. And then they immediately switched to PS4.
Yeah, and the interesting, you mentioned that is the reasoning for switching to 360 is kind of what PlayStation
There was
did
a better
then
ecosystem.
and is kind of doing now, where it's like, our fans will stay because they're our fans type thing.
Yeah, which, don't get me
It's
wrong.
completely different, of course, because they did a
Yeah.
super duper expensive console back then. It was $600, and now it's reasonable. Like, it's the same price as Xbox, but
it's nowhere
still.
near as egregious as PS3. But I do view this as, all right, Microsoft is trying to figure out what made the 360, what made people switch from PS2 to 360, and that was that they created a better ecosystem in which to play their games than PS3 had. And that's simple fact. I mean, whenever you would talk to people who were on 360, right? And you'd be like, dude, why don't you play on PS3? Like, PS3 was more powerful than the 360. Like, through and through. It was technically more powerful. It had, in my opinion, really great exclusives, especially towards the tail end. You ask them why didn't they play? Dude, PlayStation Network fucking sucks.
Which is true on PS3.
It was true.
It was horrible.
So they went where there was a better ecosystem. And I guess that's my entire point. That is so lost on these gaming analysts and journalists. And it's just like, dude, what the fuck are you guys even getting paid for? Because if I can see this clearly I can see this. And these were all the same people that, by the way, were saying you're going to get a $599, $450 price tag. Or a $550, $599 price tag. Or $550, $499 price tag for the disc and digital editions of the PS5. And like, that's why I was talking about, I don't know, looking at it the way that it was, that's why I thought that it was going to be $499 and $399. And I'm seeing this almost in the same light. Like, is everyone else either missing this, or am I looking way too much into this? Because I don't know, man. I don't see how you could walk away from this objectively and be like, yeah, Sony, after that conference, Sony came out on top.
No.
And don't get me wrong, I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing that Microsoft came out on top, because I do think that it creates a more healthy environment for games to be better for consumers when you have a healthy industry. I think my biggest problem with it is the people who are supposedly experts on this shit throwing in some sort of fucking childish bias.
Yeah.
It feels weird.
Yeah, it definitely does. And one thing that I still find interesting is that after that conference, what is everyone like? I guess I don't fully see it, but what is it? Everyone talking about like they're 100% sold on
because
PS5.
the price point was where it should be. The price point was where it should be, and you're getting games collection, PlayStation Plus collection.
Yeah, I mean,
of games that most people have already played.
Don't get me wrong, I'm gonna buy both these consoles anyway. So it
yeah.
really doesn't matter at the end of the day. But it's just weird that it seemed like everyone was like, oh, like PlayStation, they got me. Like, it was like, especially for people in games, I'm like, shouldn't they have already technically? It's like it's essentially your job to look at all of games and not just narrow it down.
I would really like to see unbiased opinions. That way the market is not swayed one way or another, so we could see what true competition in a healthy marketplace looks like.
And that would definitely mean that if Microsoft does come out on top, like it probably will, that means Sony will definitely start pumping out more original ideas that are that's what pulled people to PlayStation in the first place.
Yeah, we've made this point before that like lighting a fire under someone's ass thing, instead of making the decision that is comfortable that you know is going to sell, you're going to try and make a decision the high risk high reward. Right now they're in a low risk high reward category. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I want to see them in a high risk high reward category. That's where we get new innovative things. And that's, I think, what's most upsetting about all this is that no one seems to fucking understand that.
Yeah. I mean, good conference overall. Like, definitely some cool things out of it, but there was nothing specific to PlayStation that got me hype, which is my big issue, is I feel like there should have been. But the thing I was hyped for the most was Hogwarts Legacy, and I can play that on Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah, I am really looking forward to that game. The game seemed really cool.
Yeah. I'm
so down for
really
a
excited.
fucking RPG in the Harry Potter world.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of the most like perfect worlds to put that in,
Yeah.
especially with the time period they're doing, where it's late 1800s and it's not related to
Anything Harry Potter.
anything
Yeah.
in it, because that is one of the faults of Fantastic Beasts, I would say, is that they just try to shoehorn in so many Harry Potter references. And
they really did.
And but you know, fucking excited for this. But like I said, it's not specific to PlayStation. Even, what was it? Final Fantasy. Was it Final Fantasy that they said is
captured on PC to
emulate PS5?
PS5, yeah.
And then the console exclusive is PlayStation, but it's available on PC.
Yeah. Yeah, which is what Final Fantasy 15 was, so, and 14.
Yeah, and so it's like,
Yeah.
I can go other places to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess, Miles Morales obviously is the
play
one
that on PS4.
Yeah, so it's not like I have to move to this new model when I have it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, there's just nothing that made me feel like, oh, this is the one thing that I need to in order to move to this new console. I guess God of War technically, but even then, we don't know if it's going to be...
Even if it comes out when they say it's going to, it's, dude, at the very earliest going to be probably November 2021.
Yeah.
So,
and who knows if that's going to be available on both?
I highly doubt it'll be available on both. I think moving out of the launch window, 3-6 months out, it's not going to be available on both. They're gonna just truly commit when it comes to like PS5 exclusive.
I mean, either way, I'll play it because it's fucking God of War, and that looks so.
Oh yeah,
so
fuck
fun.
yeah!
I can't
So
wait to
excited
actually
for that.
see something for it.
Yeah,
and I'm very curious as to why we haven't.
If it really is going to come out.
Yeah. As soon as they say,
because I don't think it is.
I mean, overall, they showed some really cool games that I was excited to see. Like even Final Fantasy, where
it looked pretty good. I was surprised.
I didn't really care too much for 15. It was good. It's a good game.
They said 15 was going to be their last one. They were like, "This is it."
Do you think they were like, 7 remake? Well, no, because this would have been in development beforehand.
15 and 7 remake did amazing.
Do you think they saw that and were like,
people want Final Fantasy? Yeah.
Which this one looks like. I like Final Fantasy. I've never played all of them, but one thing that I do like about this new one is that this is truly fantasy. Where like 7 remake, they got like all these mechs and this like high tech stuff, but it is still melded in with the Final Fantasy universe. And I fucking love that game, so not trying to dog on that at all, but I'm glad that this one is truly just pure fantasy, it seems.
Yeah.
And the gameplay that they showed within the trailer looks interesting, kind of look like a mixture of like Final Fantasy Souls hybrid. Not but the
in
good
terms
parts
of
Souls.
aesthetic.
Yeah. And I'm curious to see more on that. And what they because I believe I read something on PlayStation blog that said they do have plans to show something later in, I think it was November, and they're going to show stuff, they said not just for 16 but for 14 as well. So there's going to be some new stuff for that.
I guarantee you what happened, because don't forget, they said that 15 was the last one coming off of Final Fantasy 13, 13-2, and Lightning Returns, which were all received poorly. Like, really bad. And then they had to, right around the same time, completely remake Final Fantasy 14. And that's where you got A Realm Reborn. Because Final Fantasy 14 was a shit show. It was fucking disastrous. The original Final Fantasy 14 is not what we can play today. Not even close.
Huh.
It was terrible.
Yeah, I never
They had
played.
to take it down and re-release the game.
Yeah, I never played the original 14. I had only ever played A Realm Reborn, and only a little bit, so.
And at the time, Final Fantasy VII was going through development hell, because Final Fantasy VII Remake was in production at the time.
Yeah.
And they were just like, yeah, Final Fantasy 15 is going to be our fucking our last new mainline entry. It's no surprise that 15 did incredibly well across all platforms, including when it came to PC. And Final Fantasy VII did so well right now just on PlayStation. Keep in mind, that's still coming to Xbox.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's done so well that they were like, yeah, fucking another Final Fantasy, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks awesome.
Yeah. I think they had just tainted their series with mediocrity.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I never played any of 13 or 13-2, but I did play 15, of course, like I said, and it just wasn't for me. But I objectively, it is a good game. It just didn't click.
13's combat was really fun. I can do about 15 hours of that, and then after that, it was not interesting enough to keep me engaged. Yeah. And I don't even like turn-based. That's how fun it was. Like, I really like their combat system.
Yeah, and this new...
It's like these paradigm shifts.
Yeah, the combat system for this one looks...
identical to 15.
Yeah. And 7 Remake. I don't know if it'll implement some of the mechanics, like the commands, but...
Well, with 15, remember how you could, like... You could do that like warp blink thing,
yeah, where you're
basically
like a freeze time thing, but you like pick. Yeah, it's like what you did in Dragon Age Inquisition almost.
No. I'm talking about in combat, you can teleport basically from like one place to another.
Oh, I thought you were talking about how like you could do the thing where you just like go out of it for a second, like command each thing to do.
Yeah, I think that's just being added towards more strategical RPGs to begin with.
Not a fan of that
action. I think like that's fine, just because it's an optional thing.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, like it being there isn't a problem. I just mean like that's not the mode that I like to play with. I like that real time combat, like a 7 Remake.
Yeah, no. More so, what I was talking about is like it looked like how Noctis was fighting. In Final Fantasy 15, where he was like teleporting back and forth. Like I saw some of that in the 16 trailer. I was just like, fucking down.
They ride chocobos into battle, and that looked really cool.
Yeah, that did.
Fucking Ifrit and Phoenix fighting each other, and that's the logo for the game. That's pretty cool.
This looks like a little more gritty, almost grounded, less... this looks like it's more Western inspired than Eastern inspired, like the previous Final Fantasy titles, how they were very inspired by Japanese culture.
Yeah.
And certain anime and shit like that. And in a sense, this one looks like it's taking that same aesthetic kind of, yet making it a little bit darker with the Western shit. And it looks like it's going to be infused with a little more of that Western fantasy type shit, which is very interesting for Final Fantasy, because even 15, 7 Remake, like they were all very Japanese inspired.
Yeah.
And so to see the shift in that was very interesting.
It reminded me, and I said this earlier to you, it reminded me a lot of Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah.
Aesthetically.
Yeah.
Which I like that game, so that's a win.
Yeah, the game's apparently been kind of fucked.
With what?
The recent...
Oh, the port over to PS4?
Yeah.
Was it a remaster?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, it's been apparently kind of fucking janky.
I would imagine. I wouldn't go back to play the game now anyway, so it was definitely something I enjoyed playing then, but I don't think I could go back to now.
Yeah, I need to find a good RPG to get into.
Yeah,
I really do.
I feel that.
Probably play that on stream.
One thing I have a question for you. So for Hogwarts Legacy, naturally you're gonna probably attend Hogwarts as one would, and you have to pick a house. I would assume you get to pick your own house for the game. I don't feel like it would just randomize it. Are you gonna take the quiz?
I think it randomizes it.
Well, I'm saying, like, why would it randomize it?
Sorting Hat.
Well, yeah, but even
based on the character that you built, I think it just straight up Sorting Hat.
Yeah, I could see that, but also one of the elements, which I know a Harry Potter fan like yourself would know, is that the Sorting Hat allows you to choose as well. Your choice is taken into account with the Sorting Hat. Hence why Harry could be in Gryffindor. So my question is, are you going to take the quiz so that you know which house your character needs to be in?
Absolutely not. No.
I want you to take it.
No. I want to be completely devoid of everything Harry Potter. I want to enjoy this game separately in a universe that I pretend is not attached to Harry Potter, and that's where we're going to leave that one.
Which will be easy considering it's not related to any of those movies.
Fantastic.
I'm really curious to see how everything outside of Hogwarts plays. Because it looks like, of course, you're going to be on the grounds doing a lot of the stuff in the castle.
Let's not forget, Avalanche does pretty well with open world.
Well, yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying is, like, I'm excited. Because they did you see the creatures, and you do see that they were riding hippogriffs and things like that.
When did they say this was going to come out? 2021?
Mm-hmm.
Any...
Just 2021.
Fuck.
So
this game does look really good.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Nice RPG to jump into.
I'm really, like, the part I'm most excited for, honestly, even though it's going to have this, great world to explore, is just attending Hogwarts, like, as the character and learning all the new spells and doing all that. Because that's been something that I've wanted since I was a kid to experience that, and I finally have a good way to do that.
Yeah,
I still don't like...
How are you making me slowly hate this game?
Well, then I will shut up about it because I want you to play it too.
Jesus Christ.
So that...
Ruining fucking shit. Want nothing to do with Harry Potter.
I didn't ruin Harry Potter. For anyone.
Harry Potter has been shit always. Fight me. Even before her fans started, J.K. Rowling's fans started hating her.
I've hated her since she started to add more to the universe, so I've already hated her for a long time.
Never cared for any of it.
Yeah, I know. You've been...
in general.
Yeah.
But now, it's hard to even say that because now I'm grouped in with...
Yeah, but...
Anyways. I think that's where we're going to go ahead and end it. You guys, thank you for listening. Remember to get the show early as well as other perks. Head on over to patreon.com/GamesTechMM where tiers start at just a fucking $1. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch at GamesTechMM. I'm going to be streaming a little bit this week and into the next week, typically at night. You can probably expect to see me like 10, 11 o'clock. Remember, if you like the show, please don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. It definitely helps with the algorithms and so on and so forth. Bruno doesn't plug his shit because he's a bitch. And that's where we're going to leave it. Thanks, guys.
Classic.